It was a mid-January afternoon, sitting in a cafe behind my college with a close friend. I expected a quick meal between classes, nothing more. Then I took a bite of mixed sauce pasta. The balance was perfect, creamy, tangy, and rich. Even the broccoli felt intentional, as if the dish had been engineered to meet a specific, unrecognized emotional need for warmth. I was hooked instantly. We can view this moment as a control variable. In the dataset of my life, this specific bowl of pasta became a fixed point, an unchanging baseline metric used to measure every experience that followed. I began a methodical attempt to replicate that feeling. I returned to the cafe, ordered the same dish, and when that failed, I scoured other restaurants and canteens, hoping for that same internal click. But the replication attempts were always flawed. One bowl was too dry, the next was too sharp. The texture was never quite right, and the broccoli was an afterthought. The effort was misplaced. I was attempting to engineer a return to the specific psychological climate of that afternoon, using pasta as the transport. Chasing a spontaneous peak experience this way is exhausting. It turns a comforting memory into a rigid metric that only highlights what you're currently missing. Eventually, the pursuit simply ran out of steam. Without any formal resolution or a final bowl of pasta, the memory began to recede. Life became too crowded for specific cravings. Assignments piled up, friendships shifted, and the daily chaos of college buried the obsession under more immediate concerns. On our chart, a new line emerges, the shifting variable. The pasta memory stays fixed, but my internal state moves rapidly away. Over 6 months, this trajectory creates a massive gap. The once urgent things have softened into a different life. Internal growth rarely happens while we're monitoring it. It takes place in the background, while we're just trying to keep our heads above water. This leaves us with an unfinished thought. The obsession isn't active anymore, but without resolution, it stays tucked away in the mind. We all carry these dormant memories, specific tastes or places that we don't actively miss, but haven't quite let go of either. 6 months later, a different restaurant. I was tired, I was hungry, and completely devoid of nostalgia. I just wanted something warm. Surprise requires a genuine lack of anticipation. For that feeling to return, I first had to stop waiting for it to happen. I ordered mixed sauce pasta. No search, no expectations. Just a routine choice on a tired evening. I took the first bite, and the impact was immediate. The tang, the richness, the ridiculous comfort of the balance. It was all there. It was an exact match. Even the broccoli was nested in the sauce, with that same quiet precision I'd spent months trying to find. I didn't feel overwhelmed or dramatic. Instead, I felt a subtle, deeply satisfying internal shift. A quiet kind of click. This is the intersection. The shifting variable looped back to cross the fixed control variable of the pasta. But looking at it in 3D, you see the change. I'm at a different elevation now. Re-encountering the same object proved how much I had changed. Its stillness acted as a mirror, showing the distance I'd traveled in 6 months. Same flavor, different story. This is a quieter form of closure. It doesn't require a dramatic scene or a long conversation. It simply gives you a small nod and allows you to finally move on. The things we chase often stay out of reach as long as we're leaning into the pursuit. They tend to reappear only once we've stepped back from the door and stopped checking the handle. Closure rarely responds to a direct summons. It waits until the chasing stops, until you've moved far enough away from the original moment that you're finally ready to look back and see the end of the story.